Hi guys, welcome back to another daily tarot card. These are your daily tarot cards for Tuesday, May the 29th, 2023. Today we're pulling from the Tarot in Wonderland. So if I've been reading some of the comments after the high holiday was done last night, and a lot of us are feeling like unsure what to do as we move forward. Definitely get that. I've been feeling this anxious energy as well. I know Spirit has given me some days, and I feel like this is like a time to consolidate. Like, this is the time of year where I usually get like messages from Spirit. I literally got a message from Spirit. It was like in the wee hours in the morning, and then my coworker posted exactly what was going on. I was like, oh wow. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it would be like that quick of a timeline, but it was like literally less than 24 hours it happened. I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm glad they, changed their mind, because it's like you get attached to people, you know what I mean? It's just, you want to be with, you want to talk them into staying because you love their company and they bring something to the, the atmosphere, but it's just like at the same time, you can't stop people from growing. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely get that. It's just been a lot of change. So I feel like with the Eight of Wands, I feel like something's coming out of the blue, because you can see like the one card standing up, and then it's like you get a multitude, and I feel like it's like, universe has been saying this. After Mother's Day was going to be one after the other, big or small. Definitely take them as blessings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sit there and just be grateful for those things coming in. We do have the Four of Pentacles here, holding things close to our vest, especially when it comes to the household. So this could be your money, this could be your children, this could be your partner, this could be just like maybe you feel anxious around your home. Maybe you're kind of like myself, where suspicious quote unquote activity has been happening. So you feel a little on edge. The way that I see it is like, I don't put my energy into situations that don't involve me. You know what I mean? But once you start crossing that line of being disrespectful, it's like, then you're involving me. You know what I mean? It's just like, I understand you're trying to get things done, but it's just like, don't be a freaking disrespectful ass about it. You know what I mean? It's like boundaries, And I feel like, we keep getting those filler pillars, We got 444 here, so there's going to be some change that goes around the home. Or it's just like you feel anxiousness around the home. We have the Four of Cups, and I love, again, a mystical creature, which is the dolphin there. Last week we had the Pegasus, transforming into a Pegasus. One of the channel cards we got was a Pegasus. I love how the cards that come in my feed, like, definitely coincide with the readings that I'm doing, so I love that. But I feel like it's like, even though, look at how sad, that this creature is, kind of looks like a like a cow with a turtle shell on it, but it has, I don't know, it has hooves, it has fins. We're talking about the cherubim, came up a lot of times. But I feel like it's like, look how isolated in your emotions it feels, like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's where, universe is coming in, and bringing in this, this dolphin energy, where it's just like, something out of the blue is going to come in here. We definitely get that here with, the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups to me is like our vision board. You know what I mean? I feel like, manifestations. You're going to start seeing a lot of manifestations happen. I feel like July is going to be huge for a lot of people near the end of July. 4th of July to the end of July, I feel it's going to be a lot of celebration. With the two here of Pentacles, but it's also clocks. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of us, like, I definitely felt that with the high holiday, and I always feel that. Like, I like to, when I have things to do, I like to get them done. Like, I feel like I'm productive already with this morning, because I was just like, last night I'm like, oh my gosh, it was raining all last week. I have to get, the lawn definitely needs, like, it's overgrown. You know what I mean? I'll try to keep some dandelions up for the first bees there that come out, because it's just like they need nectar. So it's just like, not to the point where it looks horrible, but it's like there's these long patches of grass. So I was just like, let me go in there, take care of those. Let me make it look, as kept as possible, but, leave some dandelions out there. Because, like, now with our parking spot, it's just like, with the snow removal, it throws the stones. So it's like the gravel is not as much there as it should be. So it's like, now you're having the grass and stuff and the weeds grow through. But it's like a decision here. With the Two of Cups, I love, like, your ship is about to come in. You know what I mean? I love the fact that they're cups. Like, you know what I mean? Like these ships. it's supposed to be the Two of Pentacles, but they're showing the two, these two cups here, where it's just like things coming in. We're getting a lot of duality. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's just like balancing our emotions. Like, we're supposed to get the yin and yang symbol here. As things leave, other things come in. But I feel like, again, it's like, don't let yourself kind of fall in the water here. Don't let your emotions take you over, I definitely feel like that isolated energy, but it's like, as we were on the beach yesterday, it's like, footprints in the sand. Anyone that is spiritual knows that passage where it talks about, like, I saw there two only when there was one. Talking about that gift of sight. You definitely feel those essences with you as you go on adventures in the world. If you really tap into them. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where universe is just like, again, when you go through this type of energy, it's like tap into that higher self. You know what I mean? Because there's change, but you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have all the answers. I feel like that's why we're getting a lot of high priestess energy as well. I definitely feel this is a time to conserve your energy. I feel like this is like, maybe you're like myself, you're a healer, and it's like, pulling for yourself, channel messages, consolidating with spirit, maybe consolidating a little too much with spirit with one particular person. But I feel like, your cup runs over, but you always share with others. And I feel like in this time, that's what's making you feel anxious, because maybe you're pulling a little too much from your cup. And I feel like this is like, okay, like, I know me and my sister talk about that. It's just like the littles, the younger boys, it's just like their birthdays are like one after another. So it does become, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the year. Teachers' presents. Father's Day is on the 18th. Shane and my anniversary is on the 8th. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of positive energy, but I could get where like my sister comes from. Like, it's anxious because it's like money keeps coming out, but no money's coming in. You know what I mean? Like, money is still coming in, but it's like you're not putting away as you like to, or that number is not going up or going down in the way, like on your credit card, like, as significantly as you like to. But, you can't help but quote Fast and the Furious. Money comes and goes. It comes in ebbs and flows. But, family and love, like, you're never going to live those moments again. You know what I mean? So, as frustrating as it is, it's just like, watching what you're spending on yourself. We got some extra cards here, but I feel like with the king, I definitely feel like this is spirit coming in strongly, and I feel like this is what spirit is telling us to do, being that stern energy. And I feel like it's like, fill your own cup. Make sure you're pulling for your own cup. Make sure you're getting the rest and rejuvenation that you need. We got the 3 cups. There's a lot of celebrations. Like, you know what I mean? Even though you're in this worried energy, I feel like they're saying, like, with the 4 pentacles and the 4 cups, it's like, there's still things in life worth celebrating. There's still a lot going on here that you could be grateful for. You know what I mean? Like, they're showing a lot of clips, obviously, from Tina Turner, God bless her soul. You know what I mean? Where she sat there, she's like, I can concentrate on the bad crap that has happened and be obsessed with it and just stew in it. Or she's like, I could transform that into something else. And I'm like, exactly. It's like, people are like, wow, you really lived a life. And it's like, yeah, but you know what? That's the past. You know what I mean? It's done. There's nothing more you can do with it. So I'm going to crush that up or push it away. You know what I mean? Or people could say like, oh, you're pushing it down because you don't want to deal with it. No, there's nothing more to deal with. It happened. I can't change anything. Again, what's strong with that monarch energy, you know what I mean, with the emperor. And I feel like what they were showing with the emperor here is that they were showing like a footstool, and they're showing one of the legs is wobbly, but they're also showing pillars. It's like, I feel like you cannot move forward until that other pillar is strong. So is this yourself? Is this someone in the family dynamic? There's something here that's not ready for that transition forward. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll be a lot here. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's just like waiting on that thing. I have the worst patience. Even when I was getting channel messages, they said patience. They're like, you have the worst patience possible. I'm like, yes, I know. I have the absolute worst patience. So devil, and I feel like this is where shadow energy comes in. 6, so June, or 6 o'clock. 6:30 means a lot to us. You know what I mean? But I try to look at the more positive signs, like Michael's birthday, our anniversary, Tyler's birthday, Shavin's birthday, Father's Day. Like, you know what I mean? Look at the positives. You know what I mean? But I feel like you may feel like, time constriction. And I feel like, I definitely felt that with like, you know what I mean? Like the high holiday, because it's just like, one thing I was grateful for with TikTok, I absolutely adore TikTok, because it was just like, I always felt guilty when I was like helping my mom on Shabbat. She doesn't get the concept of it, where we're not supposed to do things, but they said, like, Jesus would perform miracles on the Sabbath, and they would try to prosecute him for it. And it's like, as long as you're doing something that makes others happy during that time, and it's not like you're purposely going out of your way to do that. It's not like you're making plans to do it. It's just like, with her and her situation, it's like, if I don't help her, you know what I mean? Who's going to help her? You know what I mean? In that time. So it's just like, what they're saying, as long as you're doing it with a pure intention, which I am, I'm helping her out because, she was in a time crunch. So it's just like, I don't feel so bad now, because it's just like, we understand, like, it's not the whole Sabbath. It was only a few hours out of it, so it's okay, so grateful for that. The sun is coming back into our life, and I feel like that is the biggest message here. It's just like, it always gets darkest before dawn. You know what I mean? So I feel like in that sense, they're just like, concentrate, on the things that make you happy. Concentrate on, I get this because, Gemini is in the sky right now. It's in tension with Saturn, so maybe that's the kind of energy you're feeling. But, like, I was sitting there last night, I was like, oh my gosh, the grass. Oh my gosh, I got to get laundry done. Friday was, I guess because I was tired, I should have went and lay down, but I had, like, you guys always see my full cup of water that I always drink from. So I had that, and I was trying to get it, but it was slipping through my fingers. Instead of sitting there and actually getting it because I was tired, it slipped through my fingers a little too much, and it knocked over. I was just like, oh, for the love of Pete. So, you know what I mean? Like, now I gotta wash all those dish towels, you know what I mean? Because I was, like, trying to sop it up with dish towels, but it's just like, oh my word. What a mess, So I'm like, okay, I definitely have to do the laundry now, because you can't leave those wet. Like, they're hanging up, but it's like they need to get washed. Like, it'll annoy me, so working on that. But it's just like, I told myself last night, even if you get one thing done per day, at least you're getting it done. I'm doing the laundry now. Grass is already cut. Laundry's in the washer. It's like, let's go. You know what I mean? I like to have a shower before work starts, so hopefully that'll be able to be accomplished. But you know what I mean? I feel like it's just like, we put so much pressure on ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like with myself, it's like, I see some dust on the floor. It's like, gotta vacuum. You know what I mean? But it's just like, at the same time, like the King of Cups, it's like, make sure you're not overdoing it. Making sure that you're if I get tired around 2, make sure I'm laying down, getting the rest and rejuvenation I get, because I gotta work till 2 in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's just like doing the things that, it's like, yeah, be productive, but don't be to a point where it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, there's how many more, you know what I mean? Sabbath is, for another 6 days. So it's just like, sit there and get as much as you can get done, but don't put this, like, ridiculous standard on yourself, or this ridiculous demand on yourself, where it's just like, oh, this all has to be done. If it all gets done in one day, salute. You know what I mean? I'm always adding things to my list, so it's like, you know what I mean? But this is maybe why you're also feeling this energy of the 4 cups and the 4 of pentacles, because there's a rebirth going on in our life. And when we talk about the caterpillar, he gives us, like, these mysterious messages. I feel like when I do my cards, I didn't do cards. I got channel messages. I probably should pull some cards. But the thing is, it's like, I get these, like, kind of messages where it is like the caterpillar, you know what I mean? Where he was telling Alice, who are you? She didn't see herself the way that everyone else saw herself. And I feel like that's why the caterpillar was saying, who are you? You know what I mean? And she's just like, I'm Alice, I'm Alice. No, you're more than Alice. Like, you know what I mean? You're the defender of Wonderland. I definitely feel like I was feeling like garbage yesterday, and my mom was so kind enough, and her best friend, Mary Jane, was kind enough to get us some fiddleheads. So my mom, I've never had them, I've always wanted to try them. So my mom came and helped me how to prep them and, freeze them and everything like that, and we had made some later on in the day. And it's just like, I feel so much better, you know what I mean? And I feel like we're getting into that season now where it's fresh produce, you know what I mean? Because the winter time is just like, who wants to eat cold things? Not really, nobody. You want your core to get warm. You know what I mean? Like, I would eat salads maybe 2-3 days a week, but it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, bring on the soup, bring on the, split pea soup, bring on the, you know what I mean? Bring on comfort food, The Hierophant. Treasure Cat, another major, entity in Wonderland where it's that guidance, you know what I mean? And this is where I read for someone, and I didn't know, like, first time I ever read for her, and I never understood, like, I didn't understand at the time what was going on. I didn't know her. And she's like, yeah, she goes, you know who she's like, when the treasure cat showed up, it's like our past loved one was communicating with us. My loved one was communicating with me over the weekend. A little too much, a little too aggressive. You know what I mean? But my dad also came in. You know what I mean? My dad's always been that defender. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, I get where his aggression comes in, but at the same time, it's like we're going to sugarcoat situations. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, this is where you got to watch yourself. That's where I feel like that King of Cups comes in. You know what I mean? Also, like, you know, because it was a high holiday, people are like, can you do this? Oh, we'll pay you extra money. And it's like, do you not understand how disrespectful it is to ask someone to go against their belief system and bribe them and be like, oh, I'll give you triple the money, 4 times the money? I'm like, that just shows how the kind of respect you have for me. That you would ask me to go against something that I strongly believe in. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, you're not supposed to work. You're not supposed to profit during that time. You know what I mean? So, it's just, you know what I mean? It just irks at the back of your mind. It's just, you know, the disrespect of it all. The Lovers. And this is where I feel like, you know, we were talking about, like, you know, 3 people involved in a relationship here. But I feel like with the Lovers, I feel like Spirit again. You know, it's just the fact of the way that the cards are coming here. I feel like there's the higher self, which is our guardian angels, our guides, but I also feel like our loved ones with the Lovers. You know what I mean? I feel like because I do get this isolation feeling here. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, you know, how, especially myself, where I'm in my head and I'm like, you know, I feel like we should have already been moved from here, you know? But Spirit was so kind enough to share words with me, and they're just like, they gave me a date. And they were saying for our protection. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? It's just like, what's, like, you know what I mean? Because there's are things that, you know, every single day, every single moment, you know what I mean? We're being protected from things we don't even see. We don't see what's going on here. I love this strength, even though, again, isolation and the fear, you know, these dark, scary woods, this, maybe you're going through a depressive state. You know, you're going to be sure-footed as a deer. That's a biblical term, you know, where they sit there and they say, when you don't feel, like, even on slippery rocks, you're sure-footed as a deer. You know what I mean? The fact that a deer doesn't, you know what I mean? Look at how the way they scurry. They go back and forth. They zigzag so they don't, you know, they're not going in a straight line, beeline, where they can get shot or hurt or in danger. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you know, even when it's like, you know, slippery or anything, they don't slip. They don't stumble. They sit there and they're sure-footed, you know? And I feel like that's what Spirit is saying. Look at the way Alice is hugging the deer, and I feel like that's universe supporting you at this time. That's why I always feel like she's not devouring the lion. I feel like this is like the lion protecting her. You know, I know that's the definition of the strength card, but I feel like that's where, you know, I feel like the lion is protecting her. Just the stance and the way that his body's turned to her. His head is turned away from her. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just more like, you know, where she can, like, kind of, like, tame this wild animal. You know, because we're always taught to fear the lion, but it's like bravery, courage, strength, resilience. Even though, with Gemini intention with Saturn, even though we're unsure, they're mentioning Jupiter. You know, I feel like that's what they're saying. They're saying, don't forget Jupiter's in Taurus. And I'm like, okay. I feel like that's where they're saying, like, you know, especially with, like, the 7 of Cups there. It's like, your manifestations, your dreams, and everything are coming true. Don't let this low energy overtake that. You know, I feel like that's why the King of Cups is here. And it's just like, listen, you know, right now you feel depleted. You got to sit like how they were with me last night. My higher self was with me last night. Listen, you do a lot in a day. Okay? Yes, the grass needs to be cut. What are you going to do? Go outside and get drenched in the rain just so the grass looks good? It's the first nice day that you are allowed to cut the grass. So let's get up early. Let's get the grass cut. Now it's cut. You know? Laundry was bugging me because I dropped all that. It was fine at first. I was like, okay, you know, laundry's, you know, got to get done. Not done. It was just like, you know, there's some laundry starting to accumulate. Let's get that done, you know. One of the kids wasn't feeling well and vomited, you know, so it's like, got to get that done. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't like wet things in the house. Like, you know, especially like tea towels. And I don't you know, so They were hanging up to dry, but it's just like, it's like the smells. It's just like, ugh. Anyone that knows what I'm talking about, like people that throw wet towels in a hamper, I'm like, why don't you hang it up, let it dry, then put it in the hamper? Like the smell, ugh, I just can't stand it. Ace of Cups. I love like the fact of the duality of everything. You know what I mean? I feel like as you're reaching in here to get your cup filled, it's a waterfall of blessings. You know? But it's just like they're offering you even another cup. You know what I mean? Like your cup is not even good enough to receive all these blessings. It's like it's going to overflow that much. 10 of Pentacles. And again, rest and rejuvenation, spending time with our fur babies. There's a couple that's in the grief group. They're the, I guess you would say, founders, if you will. I feel, I don't quote me on that. I believe that they were the ones that made the group, but they ended up finding each other, which is a huge blessing. I feel like God blessed them in the fact that they made this group and supported this group and supported us. That it's just like, the biggest thing for me wasn't even posting. It was the fact that someone would be like, has anyone else felt this? And you read the comments and you're like, oh my gosh, this is normal. I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I thought I was having a heart attack. And I'm like, I couldn't get it off my chest, And it's just like, they're like, that's normal. They're like, there's no timeline. And that's the thing. There's no timeline when this stuff lifts. You know what I mean? The widow fog, especially, it's just like, where you can't think straight. As much as it kind of feels like you're hung over, or you were under the influence of something the night before, and you just wish you could think straight. Or when you're tired and you can't think straight, that's how it feels. That's how widow fog feels, and it's so frustrating because it's like the most minute decisions. It's like you can't even hold on to a thought. Our last card is the Queen of Wands. We're getting a lot of fur babies in the cards. You know what I mean? And I feel like in our frustration, look at the frustration on her face. Like we were just talking about the caterpillar telling Alice, who are you? And I feel like, you know what I mean? It's like, don't be so harsh with yourself right now. Hire our intuition. I feel like with the treasure cat, I feel like with the caterpillar, it's just like, when they were talking to me last night, it's like, listen, it's been pouring rain for a week. It's like, what are you going to do? Go outside in the pouring rain and cut the grass? No. It was a high holiday. The first nice day we had was Saturday. It was still a high holiday. You can't go out and cut the grass. It was not even a high holiday. It was Shabbat as well. So it makes it that much more extra important. You know what I mean? So it's just like, do your celebrations. Keep with your faith. Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I have so many things to do. But it's like, that's what we get blessed with 6 days for. To get all these things done. I was getting to the point, I'm like, I don't even think I'm going to get this, get this laundry done as much as it's bugging me, and it's like, here I am, getting it done. And it's like, kind of like the song Dayenu, what they're saying right now. It's like, not only did you give us, bless us, with the Torah, but you blessed us with Shabbat. You know what I mean? Dayenu, this like great blessing. It's like, that's where I feel like it's just like, be mindful of all the blessings, big or small, going on in your life. Not only did this happen, but this happened. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just like, even in frustrating times, it's just like, try to keep yourself grounded, try to keep yourself calm. I've definitely a lot of water symbolisms and feeling isolated and about to topple into our emotions. I definitely feel like having a cold and then cycling at the same time. It's that cold that's going around that's like 2 weeks. I'm thank the Lord that I'm, on the second week of it, where it's not as bad, but it's just like stuff still coming out. But it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, the fever is gone. Thank God, because that was a lot to have a fever and cycling. And anyone that cycles knows, like, where you run really hot. I run really hot during that time. So it's just like, at least the nights were cool. It was like -3, so it was comfortable to sleep. And that's the biggest thing, is your sleep. But it's like, even though it's really emotional, you know what I mean? I feel like that's, again, with the King of Cups, it's like, make sure you're filling your own cup. Make sure you're looking after yourself. Yeah, we got a million and one things to do. You know what I mean? But it's like, I feel like we could keep adding to it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I got these 2 things done, but it's just like, I still got to go outside in the backyard, cut the grass back there. I got to plant the seeds. You know what I mean? I got to till the garden. Like, you know what I mean? There's still things to get done. But the, 2 of the most, pestering things for me, was one, getting the grass, looking a little decent out, and let the flowers grow, but it's like, looking a little decent, so it doesn't look so disheveled. You know what I mean? And it looks like, someone actually gives it a heck. You know what I mean? So it's just like, the flowers are starting to come in and everything, so I don't want it to look like a hot mess. So it's just like, be kind with yourself. We always are so heavily critical of ourselves. We're our biggest critic, probably because that's the way we were raised. But it's just like, you're doing the best you can. If you, like, even like us, they were telling me last night, even if you just get the lawn done today, it's okay. You know what I mean? At least we tried. But now we're getting, one load of laundry is being washed right now. You know what I mean? If I get it all done, great. If I don't, well, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But it's just like, just be kind with yourself. Do as much as you can. There's only so many hours in a day. Sometimes we wish we had, we're an octopus and had more, but be kind to yourself. Even if you're feeling anxious like myself, like with the 4 pentacles, holding things close to our chest. 4 cups, it's just like we're waiting for something to happen. You know what I mean? It's like we did everything right. It's like, okay, what am I waiting for? You know what I mean? What's going to happen here? How are things going to unfold? So we'll get there one step at a time. One, you know what I mean? Like, even like, if you're like someone like myself that has decks of cards, something really, one deck really resonates with you, pull them out, see what the Spirit's trying to tell you. You know what I mean? Have conversations with them. Get your pen and paper out. Maybe they'll give you some channel messages. Date and time them so you can go back and reflect. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Tuesday, May the 29th, 2023. May the universe bless you good. Sorry, the 30th. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card. Bye.